Hello, beautiful people. Today, I want to talk to you about the concept of living in 2D versus living in 3D. So, for me, this story started quite a while back, where when I was in college, I used to play a lot of video games on my laptop. I used to primarily play this game called Dota, and well, I had a really good time doing that. And as the years progressed, of course, like I got into like a regular job and I was doing regular things. But at some point, I also had a lot of interest and enthusiasm towards things such as the Oculus Quest and HTC Vive and like VR and all of those kinds of things. Until quite recently, actually, like almost 3, 4 years ago, is when it sort of dawned on me that I'm already in a VR of sorts. I'm already in this highly immersive, massively open online role playing game where I am playing the character of Vishnu, and like whatever, this body is my avatar that I have to interface with this dimension or reality of sorts. And when that realization happened, like a lot of things actually changed in my life, which is a I got to understand that wow, already like this game is pretty awesome in terms of its just everything, like the graphics. I mean, just I look around myself and I see that everything is in like ultra HD. I don't really need to be looking at like whatever kind of a laptop screen or anything that any two-dimensional surface, even an Oculus Quest, whatever it can potentially offer. I just look around and what this is like way better. But that's not it. It's like there are so many other things which I kind of understood over the last couple of years, which I kind of didn't really see that much earlier, like this whole difference between 2D and 3D reality. So one of the things that I sort of did for myself in the last couple of years was to end up spending almost all of my time in what we would call 3D reality, like all of this, as compared to yeah, being on devices. So in fact, before I started the Lazy Man channel and started doing these things, like I used to have almost all of my time in reality, and basically I was kind of sort of off most of social media, and like my phone would almost always live on flight mode, and my conscious decision was to just interface with whoever or whatever shows up in my here and now reality. So like yeah, which is where now, for example, if I talk about a conversation with another human being as well, if I exclusively live in 3D, which is like all of this, which you are currently looking at through 2D, because you're probably looking at a screen. But yeah, what would happen is like I would mostly just in the last couple of years hang out with people, whoever shows up in my here and now reality. And the way I would think about it is that for whatever reason, the universe has decided to put this particular human in my here and now reality. And so I would basically give all of my time, energy, and attention to whoever basically shows up in that format, right? And what I noticed is that it's a much more rich experience, because imagine talking to someone on the phone and you do talk about a bunch of things, but then there is so much other information that is being missed out on, which are all of these subtle cues that people are giving, all of their facial expressions, the minute changes in their tonality, which you often don't end up picking on a regular phone conversation. So yeah, that's one. The next thing also, as I made this switch of living primarily in 3D as compared to in 2D, Now, one of the things that I noticed and I started to understand was that the universe is actually playing a very, very active role in my life, which is that it is quite actively choosing who should, like which environment I should be in, where I should be at a certain point in time. And as that happened, and that was also a function of freedom actually, because I created some freedom for myself so that I had the freedom basically to do what I want to do whenever I want to do it. And that way is like, if someone comes in my reality and they're like, hey, shall we go for a trek, I'd be like, yeah, sure, let's go. Or someone is like, I want to go here, or it's like, maybe I want to go to Madurai and do this thing, do you want to come along? I'd be like, yeah, sure, I'll go. And that way is like just more and more experiences and things just started to open up in my life. And one of the things that happened is that the quality of my life sort of went through the roof. And which is where, like, earlier when I was working in an office and stuff like that, like my life would be batched in chunks where it's like every week is a separate event, and it's like week 1, week 2, week 3 are not so different from each other's. But when I started to exclusively live in 3D and I'm just doing whatever I feel like from moment to moment, and where I'm basically living my life as a character in a video game, and I have like quests and side quests and just things, and I don't have any obligation or compulsion. I can do whatever I feel like doing. And as I progressed on this journey, the quality of life became much richer in terms of experiences, which is that lots and lots of interesting things have the possibility of showing up in my life, which were not really happening before. And also, in terms of how many things are happening, it kind of felt like maybe now that I'm just doing whatever I feel like doing, uh, well, almost like in a week's time, it feels like I have lived for a month, or maybe sometimes even a couple of months, depending on how intense the things are going on. And it's been a really, really amazing ride, right? And yeah, so that's all I wanted to talk about with you guys for today. And hope you enjoyed this video. Peace. See you guys in the next one.